Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Nishmat Ham Yaakov Yechezkel. We're holding in Avoda Zara Daf Lamed Vav. We're starting the two dots at the bottom. I just wanted to mention, I wanted to bring a Shulchan Aruch, I could bring it, but L'maaseh, just to mention briefly, we're going to get back to that later in the Gemara. We spoke about Pas Aku, Pas Palter. There's different shittas in the Rishonim where we Pascha and Halacha. Someone to say that Pascha Halacha, the Pas Aku is mutter. The Rosh holds the Pas Akum is bread of an individual is asur, but only a Pas Palter, which means a bakery, is mutter. And we have the Chidas, the bakery is mutter only in a place you don't have a Jewish bread in the Sadeh. Rosh thing holds in the Sadeh, you can get outside the city you can get a Goyish bread even if you have a Jewish bread. And in the city only if you don't have Jewish bread. But only the Jewish bread and Goyish bread are exactly the same thing. The Goyish bread is a delicious, tasty loaf, and the Jewish bread is something which is not such a great bread. You could take the other one. So it's a very shidduch that we're showing him. Shorah Pascha l'churma, the Ramah with Pascha is more l'kulo, and we'll get back to that later in the Gemara. The Gemara is going to get back to it. Says the Gemara about Shem and Shiloim. We speak about the oil. Shem and Rav Omar, Daniel goes over love. Shem and Daniel. Earlier, Daniel, he was already Goyzer and Shemin. Shmuel Amar, I know the reason why we Goyzer and Shemin is because Zlifasom shel kelim tmeim or sarto. Zlifasom means that you have like a little bit of dirt, blios, that it swallows the kli. So if you put in the oil, will be mixed into kelim that are tummy, and the tumor will go into the oil, and that's what we said the oil is also. So what do you mean? What do you give it stomach? I don't care. Some people are careful of tubo. Not everybody. The problem is they put it in kli asur, not tummy. Maybe it's trephus, and they take out from the blias of the kelim of the kelim asurim. Only shmuel lerav. You're saying that's the reason. It's like zero. Torish or Svaloi ben Etzivin, Shemen, Rabbi Yudo, Beidino, Nino Lavatiros, that's Rabbi Yudo ben Nesio. That Torah speaks about as Nahnosti Nesio, and that is the Pashtas, the way Rashi learned it, is the end of the, he's an Amoira, because later he was martyred. Why? Kasava Noisen Tam Nivgamot. He holds, it doesn't give a good taste. The bliois, the coming out of the kli, it's Noisen Tam Nivgam. We'll get to the much more in Masechus Chulin. But when something gives taste to something else, it's a problem. It gives a bad taste, then it's not bad. That's not a problem. So it's not Noisen Tam Nivgam. What about the first Mandamai that said there's also, what are the original Takanas? So Torah speaks about it. Today, old Noisen Tam Nivgam is Asur. Brings rayas that the Chorah Pashas we take all over Shas, that anything that gives a bad taste is not Asur. So Torah says, even the Mandama that says that it is here, it's Asur, it's not because Noisen Tam Nivgam, because of the bad taste. It's because of the Gzeira of Noisen. We learned in the Mishnah. They want to marry them. But if it would be because of that, if it would be only Noisen Tam Nivgam, it won't be Oiser. Noisen Tam Nivgam together with Noisen, marrying the daughters, that's why it's Asur, but we didn't see it still was matter. Daniel goes, but if you tell me it wasn't a gzeira because it wasn't a reason. Gzeira. It wasn't the reason you can't use oil wasn't because you're proud that you have blias and you have dinner gam. But the reason was because Daniel was geyser. So gzeira could do from the time of the ksuvim. Daniel goes over also we didn't see a nasir vatalate. How can you do later in a later generation of vatalat? Vadayin based in yochel vatal dibe based in chaveroi el ke godol imenu bechokmo imenu. You can't mevatel earlier based in unless you're greater than. So and the Gemara is going to explain a little bit what happens with the first one. The Gemara right now says here is a reasoning. They all know Tam Nivgam is a problem. He also Tam Nivgam is not a problem, so the reason went away. But if it's a gzeira of Daniel, how can you go against Daniel? Ludor. You're bringing a question from Ludor, from the people from Lud. Shani Ludor de Mizalzalo. He's from Lud. He is Mizalzel. He doesn't take it so seriously, the idea of having a it basically cannot be vat beis chaver. Thinking a little more likely. Omulei ishlachlei says, "You want me to send it to him? Tell him that you called him a ludi and that's what he is." Ichsif. So he was a little embarrassed. He want to say it. Amarav, even if you don't hold that the Neil, the ones that argue if the Neil was good or not, even if you don't hold the Neil didn't do it, I'll prove you the Neil did do it. The Neil put on his heart, which means he won't get should be touched, which won't get dirty with. The bread of the king, mishtov, and now in the yain of the mishteh, Torah says over here is that it's not a bread mamish, but we talk about some kind of a lifter, some kind of a thing that some kind of a sauce, right? It's something that you add to the meal. But yain mishtov, shtei mishtov is because of davar, two mishtas. Hechel mishteh yain, hechel mishteh shevet. So Daniel says that Daniel is saying you're not going to do two drinks. What are the two drinks? Is wine and oil. Rav Somar Aliboy Som says he said he did it for himself and he gave oil to all of them so not to do the oil. Shmuel Sobar Aliboy Som Shmuel disagrees and that's why he argues and he says that there was not oil from Daniel and that's why right. Rav says Daniel goes on Shmuel was not. You really have a drasha, yeah, the Neil did not want to drink oil, but he did not go his own all on Yisrael. Says like more of a shemen, the Neil goes on. What type of shemen who came from the Neil? What did he say? It's an interesting name here. Piton, Shamnum, their bread, their oil, Yeinu, and the wine, and the daughters, Kul Mishwanesa Doverhem. Because the 18 Dover, there were guys there, they were learning Mesech Shabbos, that there was a special takanas that Besil B'Shamai got together in the Mesaka 18 things. Maybe you'll tell me, okay, you're right. Daniel was going there, but it wasn't accepted. Until the 18th Dover that came later. So what is Rav coming and saying that Daniel was going there? It was not accepted. Hello, Daniel goes a lot be'ir. Daniel said, in the city, you don't drink the oil. So even if it goes, I feel besode, even in the field. See, what is the Takana of Sham Hillel? The Takana of Sham Hillel is also the Takana you can't go against. Can't do it. Except 18 things. Even if the Novi comes, listen to what Tez brings over here, what the Gemara says, because of Moise Nefesh al Dover, they put a sword, so anybody doesn't listen to it, it was like almost like have to fight for it. So there was Zeicha, they were coining it. So it's punishment and you can't go against it. Tez learns, there's a big discussion over there, they're showing him with the rules of Ein Bezi, Cholavatl, Bezin Chaveroi. Is it a din that is it a davar muskam that you can't be mevatel a greater base din? Today wants to learn this mandama holds the only base the 18 davar, 18 things that were geyser. That's the only time base can be mevatel base chaver. Any other time base cholavatel, even base shigod loymen. Says the Gemara Shem and Leposha the Surah of Yisrael. Oil was not accepted. So that's what you canceled. Toma Shmuel by Abba Amar Yechanon. Yoshua was saying if you both call Shemen Shleposha the Surah of Yisrael. Did not spend all on Am Yisrael. The Samchu Rabbi Seinu al Dibri Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Fadir blood with Tzok Shoimim. And Goyzim Zel at Tzibur Elam Ken Rei at Tzibur Yochim Lamed Boy. You don't do Exel at Tzibur unless the Am Yisrael can accept it. Toma Bach Ba'avo my crow. What says how do you learn from the pasuk? The what? No, that's the same thing. Loi Posha the Surah B'Chol Yisrael means that Am Yisrael did not accept it. Why? They can't hold it.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, same thing. And the Gemara says that Avoda base it says, "But me'eru atem neorim, voisiatim koivim agoy kuloi." So you're getting a gzeiro ba'oru. Rashi is oru b'klala, and then you're taking away from me because you don't keep it. Hagoy kulo, all Am Yisrael accepted it. So Moshe has to be an acceptance by Am Yisrael. He can goy kulo in iloy. So here you learn needs to be exerted that tzibur accepted. Shet tzibur yocholam goy. Says shet tzibur yacholam moy. You could avoid. Tzibur gufam abali omar avinu so mishpei the rav pison the shamnom the bread the oil yenom the wine b'risem the daughters kulam mishpunon sadovahem. Tzibur b'risem mahi. What does b'risem? We'll see in the Gemara is going to ask in a moment. Doesn't mean to marry the daughters. The married daughters we know from the Torah. Their daughters, they're considered to be nida the minute they're born. Same of tumah. It's all has to do with Avoda Zara. You don't want anything to do with them in order not to get the Avoda Zara. The Chiyosor of Achav Adam or Yitzchok calls you al pison mishu sham. They were goys of the bread because of the oil. So my only the shemin mipas. What do you mean? The goys of the bread because of the oil. Matra oil makes more sense. The goys of the bread as well. They're equivalent. They both should be okay, and they both are also because of the same reason. El pison misham mishum yeino. The wine makes them very excited, and takes away the das. So you don't drink wine with the goy because of that. They said don't eat bread and oil with the goy. And the wine because you should not be with the daughter. And that is what Avoda Zara. So everything comes to Avoda Zara. There's another davar acher. The good should know davar acher. The Gemara explain what is that in a moment. The Torah says not to marry a goy. So only the 7 Amamim, not all the goy. Also, we goes to feel the Shard Kachovim. The goy is even other goy. So Shuba Yuchai Domer Ki Yossi is Binucha Be'acharai Le'Bos Kol HaMesiris. There it says, don't marry the guy because he's going to influence your son. It says anybody who influences, including not the 7 nations. Michael and Mimar. El Doraiso issues their chastus. Tell you all, the only problem is to do it like a marriage. Also, Inu goes with you there's nus. If you just have nus, that's not part of the issue of the Raisa. So that's why I have a special zero. So it was nus, now you dinu shel Shem goes. Zuz is dinu Shem, the chtiv. For Yermi Yudot, Tziyuv et Yisarf. It says that Yehuda said you have to burn her for doing nus. So already then there was nus. El Doraisa Gechovi Abobas, Yisrael the Mashcha Basrei. It's only a goy having a relationship with a Jewish girl. She's going after him. Because usually people went to their father, to the husband. So the husband is the main part. So if it's Yisrael, it's okay. So there's no problem for Yisrael to be with a female, the goysa. Plus, so he goes with Yisrael about Kachavim. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? Yisrael about Kachavim. We know that's a very early halach. Why? That's what we saw by Pinchas. Told you Moshe Rabbeinu, Habor Ramis, Kanoim Poigin Boy. So, what? Ramis is a goyso. Yeah. So, and the Karibay should be the Raisa. It's a rare problem. Something more of a Raisa before Esther. That's only in public. Kamais the Shari, like the story there was with Zira Mitzol. Also, he knew goes or feel Bitzino. The goes are even Bitzino, even if it's hidden. Says the Gemara Bitzino, and I be Zdish Hashmonai goes. Every attempt at the Gemara, we have another answer. What do you mean? Bitzino already with Hashmonai. Chels of Dim Yomai, Bitzino Hashmonai goes with Yisrael about Kachovim. Chai Mishum Nashgo. It's Chai because of Nashgo. What is Nashgo? So Rashi brings over here the Nashgos were Shetevos, Nido, Shivcha, Oris Kachovim, and Eshizish. So in other words, that they consider to be as if she has a girl Nido, even though she's not really Nido. And they were Goizer because of Shivcha, even though she's not Nisa Shivcha. The girl is Shivcha, we have a Isur Shivcha. And they have a Isur of Oris Kachovim. And also the Isur of Eshizish. Instead of Eshizish, she says Zoyna. This goes on to the Cheshvan. Why is Zoyna? Zoyna is for a coin.
What's the make that it's because of four things? It's a gazelle. What's the difference?
No, they made it considered to be they did these 4 Averas. Yeah, and you don't get a Malchus for it, but it's considered to be. I mean, well, open if Kamina, the Tosfos says over here that it gets like a Malchus. It's Malchus for it. Malchus with the Rabbon for each one. So in any case, you see that what that they said it's also because of that's only bio. Bio, you already goes here. But yichud loy, yichud means just to be in the same room alone. So you goes if you yichud. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Yichud nai beidin shel David goes as we learn in second Sanhedrin. The Omar viewed the boys to show goes with a yichud by Tamar, the daughter of David. I mean also yichud of Yisrael. That was a yichud of a Jewish girl. But yichud is kechavim lo. We didn't have that. Kaseinu v'gozu after the yichud is kechavim. That's the yichud. Same way yichud I saw the Raisa. What do you mean? It's not Xavier of David. It's the Raisa. Toma yichud mishum mishum etzeg. Remember the yichud minatoy minayin shemaki yisischo achicho beni mecho. It says when Macy's, he says the son of your mother. Ben and Macy's ben Avlin no Macy's. Why it says the son of the mother? So you have a drush over here. El ben misachet. Imimoy ben achim misachet kol harayis shevatoy. The only thing you can do is to be with your mother. So you see over here the word that's ready with the Raisa. It says more yichud the Raisa the ish is ish. Ish. Also, David goes after the yichud the pnuyo. Also, Tamid the Bechama Besil goes after the yichud of Skachot. So that's the Skachot. After the whole discussion, the whole onward discussion. What exactly is the Gzeira? The Gzeira was not to have a yichud with a woman who's not Jewish. That was the Gzeira. And that's what the Gemara says that was Takana, and we were Goizer. That was the things that were Goizer, and within that came the oil, and everything you see was Matador. Let's just finish here. The Gemara brings the last part of the Bryce. Last part of the Bryce said, "My dorach mishud dorach." It says the Goizer dorach mishud dorach. What is that? That a goy. A child, a baby was a goy. He has a tumah ziva. Why? Because we don't want the Jewish children to play with him. So if he's tameh, those days, if they kill a tumah, they're not allowed to play with him. Because if they play with him, he will come to mishkazach. Thomas there, tzar godol ayali, it's avasi. Avasi, it's avyechon. Avyechon, it's avyan. Avyana, it's avnosum am. Avnosum am, it's a rib. What tzar godol means? Tzar godol means that I was really busy with him with questions until I got to the answers. I was by my rabbi, the whole series. So do what? When do we have agreed Zera Ziva? When does that start? What age? Formerly ben Yaimer. So in the beginning he told me 1 day old. It says to be 9 years old. It says in the word of Rebbe, came back to Rebbe and told him that he said 9 years old. Don't listen to me. It's 1 day. Should be what he says, 9 years old. Why? It should be 9 years old. Why is it? Because it's royal lebio. So he causes evil. So only when he's royal lebio, when he's 9 years old, that's when you say the cause to Bazivah. So what do you see over here? The reason why the Roiser is because of Bio. Why do you mean a Tomei? You mean a Tomei because of Bio. Because you say that it's connected to each other. Only when he's royal Bio, then you have Ziva. See, that's the Rai over here. And that's what it means. Dorach is Ziva of going to children. Shudorach because of Mishkan Zohar. Says the Gemara a few lines with the end the Sugya Maravino Yilkach Hatinoikis Ovis Kachovim Maskibul Shavim Yamechod will be early Bio Mitai Nam Beziva. The same way the male causes tumor, the minute can do Bio, which is 9 years old. So also the female, once she gets to the age of Bio, which is 3 years old, she causes Ziva, the same Zero. Same with Pshito. Yeah, what's a Chiddush? So I'll tell you the Chiddush. I would think that when he's 9 years old, he's already in age that he can influence another friend to do Mishkazach. But a 3-year-old girl, she's not able to seduce men. So maybe only it's not enough to have Bio, but you need to also have the ability to seduce. Chiddush is no. Even though she doesn't have the ability to seduce, we still say once you get to the age of Bia, we have the Gzeira of Ziva, and that's the Vag Mishud over Acher. That was the conclusion of the Braiso we had in the beginning of the previous Amud. And we'll stop over here in this daf.